What's up, guys? I'm Gabbi Dee.
I'm Ty.
And this is Beyond the Bone Saw. Ooh. Mic check 1 2 57.
Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yes,
3,
and then
4,
did
7.
this and that and yada
He
yada.
did a little of this.
A little bit of that. He just liked to kill
He was
people.
all over.
He did a lot. Are you ready for this week's case?
Oh, I'm ready.
Buckle up. It's actually probably going to be a multi-parter because I have so much research. But we're going to go over one of the most notorious and vicious serial killers America has ever seen. What does a beige Volkswagen Bug, 2 successful prison escapes, and a bite mark have in common?
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. They're all linked to the one and only Theodore Bundy.
I didn't know that, by the way. I didn't know that beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Wink, wink. He definitely did not know. Anyone who guessed Ted Bundy, you are correct. And for those of you who don't know, this month, actually, on April 1st, 2026, DNA evidence from the Combined DNA Index System, which is called CODIS, has linked yet another victim to Ted Bundy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the first of this month.
It's crazy that shit's still coming out about Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Years and years.
It's insane. This victim, they actually knew. He admitted it before he was executed, but there was no evidence linking him, so her case was unsolved all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And a big shout out to CODIS for doing the damn thing. They've been solving, I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, like Reels or anything, but DNA evidence has been solving so many cold cases lately.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like the smoking gun in a lot of these cases.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got DNA. With the shit going on now, if you're trying to get away with something, it's very hard to. Like,
oh, yeah,
even like
definitely.
Skin cells. They'll scrape up skin cells and get your DNA from that.
Oh, it's crazy. You literally, I mean, fuck you serial killers anyway. Or it's just you could not get away with it nowadays. I mean, you could try and, you know, there's that slim chance you can. But I feel like there's so much nowadays to catch someone between CCTV, DNA. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's insane.
The only thing you have going for you is if you're not in the system. Mm-hmm. But if you've been in the system, even for the smallest thing, whatever, if you're in that system, you're going to get caught eventually.
I think they take DNA now in prison and stuff too, like fingerprints and DNA.
Right. That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
So they automatically put you in that system.
Yeah, so you're fucked.
Right. So
which, I mean, good.
You're essentially a ghost if you're not in that system. That is probably the best thing you got
That's
going
the only
for
thing
you
you got going.
Yeah, but if you were a petty criminal before trying to do a murder or something.
You just got your fingerprints from shoplifting. You ain't getting away with nothing.
Yeah, even fingerprints. That's not even DNA. That's just
fingerprint,
you know?
It's crazy. DNA technology is insane.
And all the CCTVs out now. It's...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I saw something and it said, when you walk outside at any given time, there's usually about 20 cameras on you that you probably don't know about.
Ain't that crazy?
It is crazy. I mean, think about here, the complex.
No, there's definitely cameras in this bitch.
I mean, we got cameras. The people across from us, remember they had cameras.
Oh, our doorbell cameras and shit. But
and the ones in the window, remember they had cameras too. Yeah. So, the complex doesn't have cameras, so there's that. Make sure you edit this out so no one knows.
When, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, when was Ted Bundy's first murder?
I think it was 74, but let me check.
Well, either way, it wasn't as many cameras, I'm sure, back in 74 in the 70s, so like getting away with that shit was a little bit easier.
1974.
Damn.
I mean, I have been doing this case.
Your research.
And honestly, good segue. I've been doing this case and I'm super excited to go over it because I've been working on this case since before I've aired my first podcast, which was not Thanksgiving. What is it? Valentine's Day. So you listeners, this is just something else for you guys too. I know many people have covered the Ted Bundy case. Obviously, he's one of the more popular serial killers here in the US. But on this podcast, we thrive on deep dives. So I'm bringing you all the facts I could find, including a much deeper dive into the part of the story that always seems to get lost in the chaos, the victims' lives. Of course, we're going to go over Ted Bundy, his life, what led up to the killings as usual. He's going to be a big part of the case. He is the murderer. But I also want to give the victims what, at the very least, they deserve. and that's just not to be forgotten. Again, I've been compiling this case since before the podcast even started, and I mean, it's only been like 2 fucking months, so it's really not that crazy, but it just shows you how long I've been working on it.
And hence why it may be a 3-parter?
I'm thinking it might be the first 3-parter, which is great because I'll have you here with it. And I know some people don't like the banner in these shows, so that's why I try to do some episodes by myself and some with, not host, guests. I'm just glad you'll be here for all of it. Other than that, I don't think I have any other business I need to go over with you guys. The Patreon's live, and the next episode of this case will actually be posted there ad-free as soon as it's edited, along with the 3rd episode as well.
You hear that, guys? Ad-free, and a world of ads around every corner.
And early access.
Paywall, there's ads. You're not getting ads this time.
No ads, early access.
Early access.
The first official episode went on there. I did the Thierry Paulin case, which is the monster of Montmartre, France. I think I'm saying that pretty well, and that's not even in front of me, so that says a lot. Thank you, sir. I think this case will be a 3-parter. Let's get into the gruesome story of Theodore Bundy. On November 24th, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont, true evil was born into this world in the form of Theodore Robert Cowell.
Fucking Antichrist was born.
Literally. Did you peep his last name, though? Cowell. So where did this Bundy come from?
You know, as many Ted Bundy documentaries that I've seen, for some reason, Cowell being his last name is something I feel like I just did not know. I'm sure they've said it, but that never stuck with me because Cowell was like, oh, okay, that's his last name. But
I feel so rude. I meant to ask you. I think everyone, it's harder to find people who haven't heard the name Ted Bundy nowadays. But how much about the case do you know?
The case?
Like
the
what he did?
I've seen my fair share of Ted Bundy documentaries. Nothing, I can't think of everything off the top of my head, but what I can tell you, and I'm sure what a lot of people already know, you say Ted Bundy, that motherfucker was crazy.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
Manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
He had this eerie thing of being seen as normal.
Yes.
But behind them fucking eyes was like pure evil.
And he's been that way since he was a child.
But that's the scary thing. It's just the seeming normal.
Yeah. The normalcy he walks around with.
Yeah, and just some people got like a radar for that shit. Like, oh, that motherfucker's off. And I'm not saying a lot of his victims didn't, but maybe it wasn't enough for them to like cut and run. They were like, oh, he's just like a little weird.
So you don't know how he got the victims.
He was charismatic as fuck, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll
like
get into
he could just pick up girls, kind of like he seemed like a normal dude. Use his charisma. He'd fake injuries. That was his main thing to pick women up. Like, oh, I've got this broken arm. I just dropped all my books. Help me. So he'd play on their emotions.
Yes.
That's part of.
But I digress.
He was like a master manipulator too.
Let's not give you everything right away.
But I can't think of like all his cases and victims. But it's just like, I'm sure a lot of people know just more of who he was as a person. He was just crazy. Like he was insane. Yeah.
And because he actually was the first televised murder trial on TV.
Was he the type? Did he like the recognition?
Oh yeah.
So they essentially
fed off of it.
Oh my God, I'm just thinking of this. So well, they gave him what he wanted for a televised trial.
Yeah.
And even after death,
he's still
being talked about.
Yeah.
He essentially got what he wanted at the end of the day.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And that's why after death.
Exactly. No, he did. And I don't want to say too much because we'll sit here and jump around all day knowing us. So I just didn't know how much you knew. That's all. I was like how much do you really know?
I can't pick everything apart, but I just know who he was as a person. He did kill a lot of people, but I can't tell you every single detail.
There's a lot. And I found so much. And everything's in the show notes. Everything's backed up by facts. You guys know how I am. I don't bring anything to you I cannot back up. So everything I have is backed up. It's in the show notes below in the description if you want to take a look, read any articles. There's some books, TV shows in there. If reading's not your thing.
Then you can listen to us.
And you can listen to us. Theodore Robert Cowell. He was born November 24th, 1946, but while in utero, his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, I don't know why I keep saying Cowell when I look at how it's spelled.
Is there any similar, like, killers? Cowell?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm just going to say because it's a great excuse.
A lot of killers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the wall. Fun fact, I have a wall behind me, and it literally is like a lineup of all the cases I have on my computer. So that way, whenever I want to go over one, I can just pick from the wall or have someone else pick, which I just think is cool and wanted to share. So anyway, Ted's mom, Eleanor, she was 22 at the time when she was pregnant with Ted, and they actually sent her off to Elizabeth Lund Home for unwed mothers in Vermont. Remember, this is the 40s, and having a baby out of wedlock was a big no-no back then. So they sent her off. Now, his biological father's identity has never been confirmed, but there are quite a few theories on who his father is.
Fucking Satan. Like, who are we kidding here?
Basically, Lucifer himself.
Yes.
Ted's official birth certificate does name an Air Force veteran named Lloyd Marshall as his father. However, his mother later claimed it was a man named Jack Worthington, who was a sailor in the Navy. Years later, when Ted's history was being investigated, it came out that the police could not find any military record of a man named Worthington in any branch of the military. So either he lied and just dipped on them, or he never existed in the first place.
Or it was Lucifer.
We're going with that theory. I mean, the next theory,
insane.
We actually have a man who's pretty close to Lucifer, and this theory was highly circulated in the town, in articles, in so much. And this one was that it was her own abusive father, Ted's grandfather, that was Ted's dad.
What?
Yeah, Now, if it's too confusing, I'll break it down a little more. The town would claim Ted's real father was his grandfather, and that the grandfather was sexually abusing his daughter and eventually got her pregnant.
Ooh, but that's just...
That's hearsay.
Speculatory.
And actually, in 2020, so 6 years ago, a documentary called Crazy, Not Insane had a psychiatrist on it. Her name was Dorothy Lewis, and she claimed that she received a sample of Bundy's blood, and she was able to test the DNA, and they couldn't find the father. To this day, no one knows who his dad is, but they could confirm that Ted Bundy was not a product of incest.
Okay, so that was just
that takes
rumors.
That theory away. Exactly. Now, Ted's mom, Eleanor, after she had Ted, it was the 40s, she was urged to give Ted up. There was a big stigma surrounding, the baby born out of wedlock, and it extended not only to the mother, but to her family. Okay. So it's, why do you have a daughter? She's, got a kid, not married, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, her and her family did come to a compromise. Ted would be raised by his grandparents. They lived in a neighborhood actually close by in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The neighborhood was called Roxborough, and his grandparents would end up telling everyone they adopted Ted from an orphanage, when in reality it was their grandson. They did this to try and protect their daughter's reputation, but they took it even a step farther. They decided to tell Ted that his mother was really his sister, and he believed this for a while. So the grandparents said, "We're your mom and dad, and your mom is your sister."
All right, quick overview.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple checks already for the breeding of a serial killer. 1, no dad. 2, being raised by your grandparents, fine, but starting to lie about who your mom was, that's check number 2. I'm sure later he finds out, right?
Yeah, he actually, he finds out pretty young. There's 2 theories on how, but he does find out young, and this is kind of only the bad stuff in his life. Other than that, his life's pretty good, believe it or not. Now, Ted's mom, Eleanor, she was born September of 1924, and her and her sister were considered the normal ones at home. But her parents, Ted Bundy's grandparents, were another story. His grandfather, Samuel, was quite a character, and not in a good way. I literally could not find anything positive about this man online. Nothing nice. He was known for being, and I quote, "a violent, tyrannical, drunken bully who beat his wife."
Okay, well, that's check number 3.
And there's a couple more about Samuel.
Wait, you told me this was the only...
No.
The only bad thing. What?
So Ted does, when Ted turns 3, they leave. We'll get there. But Ted leaves very young in his life.
But children are open books.
Oh, yeah.
Even, they're just viewing
and
the
he
world,
loves,
and they see shit like
loves
that.
his grandfather. Mm-hmm. Now, his grandfather, there's also reports, Samuel, there's reports he would throw his daughter down steps, and that he did so once just for oversleeping. And this is now a warning for animal abuse. He would beat the family dog and any other animal that crossed his path. Some even recalled him swinging a cat in circles around his head by its tail. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. It is just so ridiculous. And picturing that is a little crazy.
That's so...
Sorry if I just hurt your ears
this
laughing.
Dude's such a...
Oh, I guess. Hold on. We're not even at the best part.
I love the cats too.
I know. Ty's a cat daddy.
The dogs too, but
I'm the dog person. Look, Ty's the cat one.
This dude's fucked up. This dude's sick.
Well, it gets even crazier. So, of course, to top it all off, he was also a racist who was known for having a pretty large porn collection. And side note, what a thing to be known for. Your extensive porn collection.
I feel like these traits from his grandfather are precursors to who Ted Bundy is or was. Even though he was only exposed up until 3, but did he still see his grandfather after that point? He would still see,
yeah, but they still grew up with him.
For a child to see shit like that, you don't understand it at the time, but like it's implanted in your brain. You know what I mean? Like it's in there.
Here's something to top it off. Ted's grandma, Samuel's wife, her name was Eleanor Longstreet, and Ted described her as a timid, obedient woman who periodically underwent electroconvulsive therapy for her crippling depression. And
it was that time.
And was completely afraid to leave her house towards the end of her life. She was terrified, like Sheila from Shameless. Wouldn't leave her house. She was petrified.
They fucked her up.
And yeah, it was that time where they're fucking just shocking everyone.
You think the doctors are like, yeah, we fixed her. She stays in the house now. She's good to go.
No, they said, she needs to keep coming back and getting her fucking brain shocked. Jeez. Which probably made it worse. The grandmother would refer to her husband Samuel as a racist, sexist, verbally abusive man, which is crazy in my opinion. I couldn't imagine being with a man who fit a single one of those words.
Yeah, well,
if I can say any of those words for you, I don't want to know you on any level in my life. For being a racist, sexist, verbally abusive person. Despite all this, Ted spoke very warmly of his grandparents, and he actually told an interviewer that he, quote, identified with, respected, and clung to his grandfather Samuel, which in my opinion is scary as fuck and explains a lot.
Yes.
You identify and respect an animal-abusing, woman and child-beating man.
Yeah, imagine a kid looking up to somebody like that.
I think he just was obsessed with his porn collection, in my opinion.
Or just like, he probably idolized. Like, that was his father. He didn't have a father figure.
Exactly, yes.
That became his father figure, and it wasn't the best person to idolize and look up to. So, like, yeah, and then he turns out
he thought it was his dad. Yeah. And they raised him like that for a while.
That's insane.
Now, when it came to Ted's real parents, I did see that, and I can't figure out what age it was. Ted, he would argue with his cousin all the time, and the cousin would call Ted a bastard. Because technically, he's a bastard. He's born out of wedlock. Which I am too. No hate. But eventually, this cousin, just to prove a point, showed Ted his own birth certificate. So just to prove a point, he showed Ted his birth certificate just to, prove he was right and that Ted's a bastard. So that's how Ted found out.
Wow.
And I can only imagine what this did to Ted. I can't imagine thinking my mother was my sister and finding out she's really my mother and that my parents aren't even my parents, they're my grandparents.
Yep.
And many people do believe this is the beginning of Ted's end and that this broke him in a way.
They set that kid up for failure.
And the interesting thing is, throughout Ted's whole life, he never wanted to figure out who his father was. He never cared. He never seen the need.
So I got a father figure right there.
Yeah. He didn't see the big issue of not knowing who his father was. And on a Netflix special called Conversations with a Killer, Ted would state, quote, this legitimacy issue is for an amateur psychologist. It's a thing, I mean, it's just so stupid. By it's so stupid, he's referring to the world talking about it and saying like, oh, well, you don't know who your dad is. That's why you're a serial killer. Ted even thought it was so stupid. He said, it's so stupid, it bugs the shit out of me, and I don't know what to do about it. It's normal.
To not know your dad?
It can be, yeah.
I mean, yeah, not know your dad isn't going to make a serial killer.
I feel like it was Ted's way.
Of things.
Yeah.
But, no, there's plenty of kids that grew up without their dad. They're not a serial killer.
And that's like, and it's just interesting, because like, one thing about Ted, and we'll go over it later, probably in episode 3, when it comes to like the interviews with police and everything, he never talks about his crimes.
Does he not talk about his crimes as like a power move? To not admit
I
guilt?
think a part of it, so there are some videos where he talks and he does this and whispers in the mic. Like he literally picks up the recording system and put it on his chest and whisper into it. And he does it with other bad things too, but...
Is it like a weird quirk he has?
I think it's a weird, like he doesn't want to say it out loud. He doesn't want to be perceived as a murderer. It ruins his image.
He knows damn well He's a murderer.
And honestly, I think that's why he waited until close to his execution to like confess to all these killings. And he still doesn't say how to a lot of them or why he did it. I just found it interesting that Ted was even like getting upset that everyone's blaming the fact he didn't have a dad on why he killed people. Mm-hmm. And Ted would even say that I had a normal upbringing. There's no reason I should have turned out like this.
Sounds debatable from what I've heard.
Well, let's get into it more. So now we're going to talk about him growing up and his family life a little more, right? But I have to ask you, have you ever seen those TikToks or any reels anywhere about like those comprehensive like 2-year-olds? Those comprehensive kids?
What do you mean?
That are like fully aware and talk like an adult?
I've seen the funny TikToks where they will show like, it'll be like age 2 and you become conscious.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Funny. And it's like the kid just became aware of the world.
So... Yeah, no, it doesn't creep you out. I think it's so fucking weird. Maybe I don't have kids.
Do you think it's like a striking moment like that? Like you're just 3 playing with your toys and then it hits you. You're like, I'm alive.
Yeah, like Susan, go rip off your Barbie's heads or something. Like, what are you doing over here? I don't know. So Ted's Aunt Julia would claim Ted was just like that. She recalls waking up from a nap and she was just on the family couch in the living room, right? She woke up with kitchen knives surrounding her, like in a circle around the couch. And 3-year-old Ted Bundy just standing there, smiling, staring at her. At 3 years old.
Huh?
She woke up. There's kitchen knives. Yeah,
okay.
It's crazy.
Wait. I'm sorry. Say this again. Who woke up and saw this? The grandma?
No. Ted's aunt.
Okay.
So the mom's sister, Aunt Julia, she claims Ted was like one of those comprehensive kids that has always been fully aware. And she woke up from a nap on their family couch in the living room, and she just had these knives from the kitchen. Like, Ted got the knives and put them around her while she slept. And then she wakes up, and he's standing right there staring at her.
Where did he get this behavior from?
No fucking idea.
Kids don't just pick up knives and stand in a circle like it's some evil satanic ritual. Like, you know what I mean? So, 3 years old, he already had time with his grandfather.
I don't know.
Did the grandfather do weird shit like play with knives? Did he threaten to stab the grandma?
I don't know.
Like,
I did not find anything that can explain that.
Or, there's an explanation.
Yeah,
his fucking father, Satan. That's what it is.
Excuse me.
Because that's crazy. Like, but a child doesn't just, unless we're going in a realm of like some supernatural shit, and he just already had this shit in him. Mm-hmm. Right? But like, where did that behavior come from?
I don't know. There is like...
And you can't blame the phones, because back in that time, he wasn't on TikTok.
It's the 70s. No, yeah. I mean way before the 70s. I'm sorry,
internet,
he's 3.
Scrolling shit about serial killers and shit.
Yeah, it's like the 50s. I think that he does... I don't want to jump too far ahead with what we say. I'll try to keep it very short. He does get this sadistic porn addiction, quote, later in life.
I say it's from his grandfather.
And I think it's from his grandfather. And I'm like, did he see some sort of sadistic images in the magazines, maybe?
Probably.
Because his dad or his grandfather sounds like a sick individual who,
So what happens is, like, a child that age, they'll see it. They might not fully, they never fully understand it. Mm-hmm. They'll just take it into their mind. But later in adulthood or even teenage years, it'll manifest and come back out like, oh, I like this shit, or he's attracted to it.
Yeah.
And you might not realize this because you probably seen it when you were younger. You were probably already exposed to it, and then you're just into this weird shit. Don't really question why, but you're just like, I like it. This is just what it is. This is what I do. I am.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the whole Satan daddy thing.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
because that's just so crazy. But anyway. So his aunt would say that he looked and acted like any other child, but he was something else. Quote, something haunted.
His grandfather got to him too early. Sutton possessed that kid's mind.
Oh. Sorry if you hear that. Leo, our cat, is at the door meowing. He's a very codependent orange cat. So at the age of 3, and after the aunt woke up surrounded by knives and a demonic child, his mother decided now was probably a good time to leave. So he was only in that house till he was 3. So in 1915, oh God. In 1950, Eleanor, Ted's mom, would rename herself from Eleanor Louise Cowell to Louise Nelson. And she took Ted, and together they moved to Tacoma, Washington.
So how old is he now?
3.
Oh, okay.
A lot of what I saw said this move was big in part to the aunt waking up with the knives and shit. Only God knows what else was going on in that house. But this seemed like the tip of the iceberg, and she was like, we should probably leave. So they moved to Tacoma, Washington, and she had some cousins out there, so they had a place to stay for a little while. About a year later, at Tacoma's First Methodist Church, they were hosting a singles night, and Eleanor, Ted's mom, now Louise, met Johnny Culpepper Bundy there.
Huh?
I seen the face, so I was giving you a second.
Bundy?
Yeah, she met a man named Johnny Culpepper Bundy, Johnny Bundy. And he was a hospital cook in the area and was honestly just what the family needed. Don't worry, we'll get to the name. John was reported as being a sweet, caring man, and Louise fell in love with him immediately. Within a year, the two were married, and eventually he would adopt Ted, giving him his notorious last name, and Ted Bundy would be born.
So he was Ted Cowell.
He was Ted Cowell for a while, and then eventually he became, the name that would cover millions of headlines, articles, and TV shows. Before we jump back into the action, I have to shout out the first ever sponsor of our show, Gabbi. If you follow me on social media, you already know I'm usually deep grinding Apex or running missions in Warframe. And when you're locking in for hours, the last thing you want is that mid-game crash. That's why I've been loving Gabbi. They're known for their jitterless energy blends, which means no crash, no weird shaky feeling, and no guilt. Just clean focus that helps you lock in and carry your squad for hours. And if you're an anime fan like me, you have to check out the Crunchyroll collab. The anime-themed shakers are insane. I've got the Chainsaw Man energy blend and the Free Run shaker on the way, and I cannot wait to show you guys. If you want to level up your setup and support the show at the same time, head to dubby.gg, that's dubby.gg, and use code BONESAW at checkout, BONESAW, for 10% off your entire order. All the info is in the show notes. Huge thanks to Dubby for believing in the pod, and a huge shout out to you guys for listening. Now, let's get back to it.
I don't know why that took so long for it to click. I was like, oh, duh.
Yes. So that is where the name Theodore, aka Ted Bundy, comes from. Now Ted, he would never get along with his stepfather. He didn't hate him, but he didn't like him at all. He'd say his stepdad was, I quote, not very bright and didn't make much money. So that tells you all you need to know about Bundy, honestly. Now, Johnny and Louise, they did have 3 kids together, and although Johnny tried to include Ted in all these family activities, but he always remained distant from him. Bundy always kind of remained distant from the whole family, honestly. And his mom did notice this, and it affected her. She wanted Ted to get along with, her family.
Right.
She wanted Ted to get along with everyone, but he would purposely distance himself, like I said, and she claims he showed no signs of psychopathic behavior growing up.
It's that seeming normal shit.
Yeah, and he
just masked it.
If you
he
like
masked
it
so well.
He did.
So well.
No, Ted, he wore a very good mask. He wore an amazing one. Like I said, he would even admit in an interview, quote, "There's nothing in my background which would lead one to believe that I was capable of committing murder," end quote.
That's what he said?
That's his words from an interview, yeah.
From his point of view.
Yeah, there's nothing in my background.
Obviously, we can look at his life and speculate on that.
Yeah, you can find the things with his grandfather. Ted also went on to add that he insisted that he grew up in nothing other than a good Christian home with 2 loving parents, even though he refused to call his stepfather anything other than John. He did say he was a loving man. Even his stepfather and mom were great parents to him.
Do you have to have a fucked up childhood to want to do this? Or
No.
No. You just get that. You just one day you're like.
I feel like as humans we can. I don't want to say we fully understand why people commit murder and become serial killers, but when there is a backstory to it, you're like, oh well, I can kind of see why he turned out like this.
I'm a firm believer everything stems from childhood.
Yeah,
or a lot of things at least.
Oh, I think some people just snap and are nutty. I mean, a lot of serial killers, they have bad childhoods. It happens. You can create a killer that way.
But on the
some
other
people
end,
are just sick.
When you're an adult, you're in control of your own thoughts and actions. Mm-hmm. So, who's to say you can't just wake up one day and just be like...
I believe you can.
You just snap. You just said, fuck it.
Yeah, you're just...
Who knows? It has nothing to do with your childhood. You're just like, fuck it.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about his school life and teenage years. And Ted Bundy... Oh, okay. I feel like this is kind of where his true character really shows too. He grew up your classic narcissist. Even though he was shy and withheld himself from everyone, he did have this superiority complex that basically his shit didn't stink. It was clearly noted to everyone around him, from children to adults. They even saw it. He thought he was better than everyone. He also thought he would grow up to become someone important, and he didn't care what anyone thought. Everyone was below him.
Like ants.
Literally. When he became a teenager, he said he didn't know how to be around others or build friendships. He kind of just didn't get it, how people got along. He had a hard time understanding how to make friends, and he kind of just floated by in life, which it does match his isolating, distant personality. But that didn't last forever, because he learned to wear that mask.
Right.
And once Ted learned to wear his own personal mask, he became liked by everyone.
He knew how to fake being normal.
On top of that, Ted was a handsome man to most women, not including myself. I really don't see it. I don't think Ted's that attractive. And I mean, I do know how he is and whatnot, but women to this day, like, I'll listen to podcasts and they'll go over how beautiful he is and how much of a handsome man he is.
I heard so much about his charisma. He could just...
I mean, confidence is key too, right?
Right. He was smooth.
And all I seen him do was talking about his murders and stuff. You know, I didn't know him in the moment. Now, like I said, he was a handsome man and his looks took him far in life. And we find out he did use them to his advantage as well. Sandy Holt, a childhood neighbor in Tacoma, Washington, where he lived with the cousins, would recall Ted as a mean-spirited kid who liked to inflict pain, suffering, and fear on others. This is one of his childhood neighbors. Yeah. According to her, Ted also... warning for animals... Ted hung a stray cat from his backyard clothesline, squirted lighter fluid all over the cat, and set it on fire while it was alive.
Cat?
A cat.
Grandfather?
Yep.
Cat? Grandfather?
She also claimed he would take younger children from the neighborhood into the woods, force them to strip, and proceed to terrorize them in different ways. I couldn't find specifically how, but she said you could hear kids screaming from blocks away.
He didn't go to jail for this?
It gets... Bundy would even build makeshift punji traps around his neighborhood.
Punji traps?
Mm-hmm. Injuring at least one girl. Now, if you don't know what a punji trap is, the best way to describe it is it's a booby trap, and it was a big tactic used in Vietnam War.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I
so
know
crazy.
some about the Vietnam, like...
Yeah, you're probably like,
traps
punji traps.
What and shit.
Exactly. So he'd dig a hole in the ground, he'd place sharpened pieces of wood, bamboo, or whatever in the dirt so it stands up straight. And then you place sticks and foliage. What's that weird? Sticks and foliage on top of it to conceal it, and then unsuspecting people would walk over it and fall in. In war, the point was to mainly damage the lower limbs of unsuspecting soldiers. And bonus fact, in war, they'd cover the sticks in urine or feces to increase the risk of infection. Allegedly, in doing this tactic, Ted Bundy did injure a young girl from the neighborhood, but reports claim she just hurt her ankle, thank God.
He go to jail?
No, nothing.
What?
From the records, he doesn't go to jail till he's like 18 for theft, like minor theft. Again, this is hearsay. Do I believe Ted is fully capable of this? Yeah. The dude's literally a murdering necrophiliac.
Sadist.
Yeah. I believe Ted Bundy is literally capable, because he's dead now, thank God, of anything. Now Ted, he'd later admit to a few hobbies he had growing up in Washington State. He really liked picking through trash barrels for pictures of naked women and would dig in the trash any chance he got to find porn. And I really
naked
think...
women, grandfather, porn, naked women. Just that's all I'm saying.
And I really think if this porn addiction, as he later calls it, because he blames a lot of the murders on this porn addiction, quote unquote, stemmed from his grandfather and his glorious porn collection. But again, this behavior, it does fuel his later actions. And like I said, eventually in high school, he'd be actually arrested twice on suspicion for burglary and auto theft, but it would eventually be expunged from his record. He did find a love for skiing, and he would steal ski equipment as well. He was just a little klepto growing up, it seemed, honestly. He'd just steal whatever he could.
I'm sorry?
A klepto? Oh, the stealing?
What the fuck's a klepto?
A kleptomaniac.
What the fuck?
You have a stealing addiction. A klepto. You've never heard klepto?
Fuck no.
Oh my god, I think I learned it from the Sims game. That's one of your traits your character can have. You can make them a kleptomaniac and they'll just steal shit while they're out. Yeah.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting word. I just never...
Yeah, kleptomaniac.
Gotta add that to my vocabulary. I'm gonna go to work and just start saying it.
Hey, writing a book does come with its perks, I might say. Like I said, Ted was a narcissist. He was a good-looking thief who could talk to anyone in the room at this point. He held his head high, he was well-read, and thought he was better than everyone. Now, in my opinion, this is a perfect cocktail for a politician, am I right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Keep this in mind for later, because he dabbles in politics for a bit.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
See, every time I watch or listen to something about Ted Bundy, I learn something new. There's so
I'm not trying
much.
To brag or anything.
There's so much
This
shit.
first episode, we're going to go over his first 2 attacks. And one of them does die, the second one. But most of this episode is going to be his childhood into his adult life. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, what the actual fuck? Because this dude is just crazy. So after high school, which he graduated in
I was just, if only he just used that narcissism, that charisma for good.
Yeah. If he used it for
wouldn't be the best because you're still narcissistic, but you just channeled it.
I was going to say, shit, he might be the next Donald Trump, our president, but... Cut that.
A politician, to say the least.
Yeah. After graduating from high school in 1965, Bundy attended the University of Puget Sound, aka UPS, where his mother currently worked as an admin assistant. But after almost being there a year, he transferred to the University of Washington to study Chinese.
Interesting.
And University of Washington, just keep this in mind because this is where his activity begins.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
In 1967, he became romantically involved with a classmate who we are going to call Stephanie Brooks for privacy reasons. Mm-hmm. She does call herself this to protect herself, and we just want to respect her decision, of course. Ted would later describe Stephanie as, quote, the only woman I ever really loved. I think he was just obsessed with her and what she could offer him in life. She was gorgeous. She had a family who was tied into politics and had plenty of Ted's favorite thing, money. And Ted, he always thought he was meant to live this life of luxury, and she had it. So what better way in than just joining an already established family, honestly? Yeah. As to his claim of loving her, again, I truly think he thought want and obsession were love, and that's just not the case. Ted Bundy is a complete monster who isn't capable of love. The only thing he is capable of loving is himself. In early 1968, Ted dropped out of college, and he began to work a series of minimum wage jobs. Stephanie, however, graduated and she left Washington for San Francisco, where Ted would visit her often, so they had this long-distance thing. In August, Ted attended a 1968 Republican National Convention in Miami, and shortly after, Stephanie would end their relationship and return home to her family in California. So she broke up with him. She claimed she was just frustrated by Ted's immaturity and lack of ambition. She saw a college dropout with no direction in life, and as she was progressing, he was degressing, and I fully get that. They're going in different directions at this point. And when she met him, he was this dedicated man with a future in school, and now he's just a dropout working little jobs. Right. Not saying anything's wrong with that, but she met him, he had goals, she had goals.
Their paths weren't
exactly.
That's all.
And that's fine. But to Ted, it wasn't fine. Oh. And we can all say without a doubt, this was a pivotal turning point in his life, especially towards his future victims who would oddly all resemble Stephanie in many ways.
Whoa. I feel like I've heard that before.
I feel like...
He had a type.
Yes. All looked like her. We'll get into it.
Brunettes,
hair parted down the middle, straight, white females, all in college. Well, most in college.
So he kept them around the same age range.
Yeah. Pale skin, pretty. All of them are beautiful girls. Straight hair, all around the same range. They look like they resemble her. He had a type.
And it was like you were saying, love and obsession.
Mm-hmm.
The lines got blurred.
Yeah.
Thought of it one and the same.
Yes, exactly. Needless to say, Ted was destroyed by this breakup, and her leaving meant that she took that sparkling future he wanted with her. He would travel to Colorado and then further east, visiting relatives in Arkansas, Philadelphia, and eventually enrolling for one semester at Temple University in Philadelphia.
Okay.
During his studies, he frequently would visit New York City, where he was drawn to porn even more. He immersed himself in violent pornographic literature while nursing his wounds from their breakup. In later years, he will use this as an excuse for what he did, kind of like what we were discussing earlier, trying to make porn the root of all his evil. Not the fact he was just a sick fuck.
But there's the thing with porn, like people that have porn addictions, it starts off normal, mostly vanilla stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And people that truly have an addiction
kind of get desensitized.
They gotta watch more and more weirder and just...
Well, imagine starting your addiction at 3 years old.
Mm-hmm. But they gotta watch more of that shit just to get your rocks off, pretty much. You know what I mean? Start watching, like, bondage and, people getting cut up and shit. And
I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with kinks. Do your thing. But when it leads to some sadistic murdering, there's a problem.
And then that's another line that gets blurred. Mm-hmm. Like, the sadistic shit and the sexual shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then
they become one and the same to him.
To kill, to get that sexual satisfaction, and then it's just...
No, fully agree. He would eventually return to Washington in 1969, where he would meet Liz Kendall.
Oh, the first girl that he dated, she's still alive, right? She
Stephanie.
got away.
Yeah. Oh, no, he doesn't kill her or anything like that. So he met this new lady, Liz, and she was a single mother from Utah who worked as a secretary at the University of Washington School of Medicine. Their relationship would continue well past his initial incarceration, so she dated him when he's getting arrested and going through this shit. Liz, she also had a daughter who we're just going to call Diane. She was 3 at the time when she first met Bundy. As an adult, her daughter Diane would write that at the age of 7, Ted became abusive and sexually inappropriate with her. He would hit her in the face, knock her down, and eventually put her at risk of drowning, which I didn't find much about.
Grandfather, daughter, hitting her, abusing her.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy abusing the woman's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there's a lot of parallels here.
Well, also, I mean, the rumor is that Ted Bundy, his grandfather Samuel, sexually assaulted his daughters. I didn't see the mom, if she confirmed or denied this anywhere. I didn't see that. I don't know if it's true. It could be hearsay, whatever. But his track record's not that great anyway, so I wouldn't put it past him. Mm-hmm. Now, she would add on to this. She would say that he would often expose himself during these games that he played with her, and eventually it turned into sexual touching, which he would claim these were all accidents.
They always do that fucking stupid shit. Because they're, oh, it's a game. Fucking weirdo.
2 years into their relationship, Liz fell pregnant with Ted's baby, and he would make her have an abortion because someone needed to work, and it had to be her. She needed to work to put him through law school, which even saying it out loud is such an insane fucking statement.
That's insane.
In 1970, Ted decided to focus on his goals. He became an honors student, and he was very liked by his professors in school. A year later, in 71, he took a job with Seattle's Suicide Hotline Crisis Center. There he met and worked alongside this woman. Her name was Ann Rule, and she was actually a former Seattle police officer, an aspiring crime writer who would later write one of the Bundy biographies. Ann Rule saw nothing disturbing in Bundy's personality at the time. And mind you, she's a former police officer. She described him as kind and empathetic. She said he was great at his job and that he saved many lives in the suicide center. He would walk Ann out to her car after hours and tell her to be safe. And after all this, she would end up writing a book called The Stranger Beside Me. And here are some of her unique quotes pretty much describing Bundy. She said, quote, "Ted loved things more than he loved people. He could find life in an abandoned bicycle or an old car on the side of the road and feel a kind of compassion for these inanimate objects, more compassion than he could ever feel for another human being. He would even go as far as giving her some basic advice when it came to like walking alone at night, telling her, look alert, be aware of your surroundings, and walk briskly. You'll be safer if you know where you're going, and if anyone who observes you senses that." I feel like he's...
I don't even know what to say to that, because he's the type that would take advantage of that.
Here's how you can avoid me. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's why I wouldn't kill you. And she would later say...
Yes.
She'd later say, like, I'm a bigger, older woman. I wasn't his type, so I didn't know it, but I was always safe from him. And never had to worry about him killing me.
Was she a brunette?
No, redhead, I believe. Yep. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure when I saw her interviews and stuff, she's red-haired. Now, these quotes, they do reflect Ann's initial impression of Bundy and his complex personality, which she later learned contradicted everything she thought she knew about the man. She also said Bundy was the only person her dog didn't like. She'd bring her pup to work, and whenever he bent over her desk to talk to her, the dog would actually growl at him, and her hair would just stand up. And all I have to say, is always listen to your dog.
Animals sense shit.
Listen to your damn dog. And just a side note, she said this dog, I mean, she's bringing this dog into her work environment. This dog's a friendly dog. It gets along with everyone. It's sitting there while she's saving lives on a phone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people around her are working at this center. But she does not like Ted. Again, listen to your animals.
Can I say something about him working at the suicide? Do you think this was very intentional for him to work there? Like, was he getting off by... Like, what? He seemed normal, but just in his mind, why? Why would he... I feel like everything he does, he had some sort of a motive behind it.
Yes.
It's not just,
dude, I literally say this. Yes. No, you're right. And again, you're like a segue king today. So Ted, working at a suicide hotline center, I put in here, it's so out of place, and I feel like he fed off of it. These people call for help, they're at the lowest point of their lives and on the verge of ending their lives.
And already seen people as below
and you
him.
Need someone, anyone, and Bundy, he got to be that hero. He got to be that person. I think this job made him feel he had some sort of control over their lives. I'm sure his narcissistic ass loved the job, and it made him look like a better person as well, saving these lives and helping people who need it the most. But I believe... Sorry. No, you're good. I was just going to say, I believe he's just pure manipulative evil.
Right. Although he saved lives, I feel like he didn't give a damn about saving the lives. Like
no,
you said,
he wanted to look good.
It was like an ego boost for him. It just made him feel like he was a god.
Well, his coworker Anne would say he saved many lives. And like,
but I don't think that was the good thing for him. Like, that wasn't his...
I think ego boost.
Exactly.
Ego boost makes him look... He wants everyone to perceive him a certain way. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, everyone did for most of his life.
I just wanted to say something else. His other jobs, or other things that you said, he learned Chinese. I wonder, maybe that didn't manifest anything.
He did drop out during that year.
But he tried it.
I don't know why he wanted to learn Chinese.
Right.
I'm not sure.
For what reason? Maybe some of his ideas didn't manifest the way he wanted, but why did he try and learn Chinese?
I don't know.
What was his thought process?
Maybe he just thought it'd make him look cool. Honestly.
Or maybe it's something a little more sinister.
Well, I'm trying to think of sinister, and maybe it's because I'm not a sinister person. I can't think of it.
There was another thing you mentioned, the political thing.
We're about to discuss it. Yeah.
He did that. Why? I forgot what you said, but it was something.
The politics, again, that's literally next on here, segue king. So...
Segue.
The next few steps... Because this is around the same time he gets into politics. In 1972, he also enrolls in psychology to learn more about people's minds and how he can manipulate and take advantage of them.
Of course.
He literally did this just to support his fucking criminal endeavors.
Of course.
He set this up. Now, we can discuss the politics, it's only a short stint. He wasn't in it long. He did it for the long game. He was mainly involved with Governor Davis back then. Bundy would pretend, this is like another manipulative side, Bundy would actually pretend to be a college student at another school and pretty much shadow the governor's opponent. So Ted's working for Governor Davis, right? Bundy would sneak off, pretend to be a college student at another school, and work for Governor Davis's opponent. So that way he could learn what the opponent was going to say in the speeches and bring it back to Davis so he could pretty much rebuttal and know how to beat his opponent.
That's smart as shit.
He's like a spy. He literally went undercover, and it just adds to, like I said, how manipulative he is. He's a piece of shit. But then again, I mean politics, baby. Am I right? And Governor Davis, he would say that Ted was smart, aggressive, and a believer of the system, which also says a lot about Davis. We are going to... Well, not us. Ted is about to dip his toes back into Stephanie's life. The first girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
So he goes on this trip. It's summertime in California, 1973. And Ted rekindled his relationship with Stephanie, the first woman. The woman who left him after she graduated college, and she fell for it. She saw this serious man who finally grew up. He turned into a serious businessman who was dedicated to his profession. She could tell he was headed for some sort of legal or political career.
So what, he did everything that he lacked, so he gave that impression off to her that he's well put together and that he's doing things in life. The same thing that she left him. Well, the thing that she left him for was not having motivation.
Yeah. Well, we're going to figure out from Ted Bundy's words the point of this. Now, you might be wondering about Liz, his current girlfriend, right? Because he's got a girlfriend already.
Oh, I forgot about her.
He dates them both at the same time.
Oh.
Neither was aware of the other's existence until the police later told them during the investigation into Bundy's many years of crime. So January 1974 rolls around and Ted proposes to Stephanie, the only woman he ever truly loved, right? That's what he said. She says yes, and just like that, poof, Ted becomes a ghost. He didn't return her calls or letters. A month goes by and she finally gets a hold of him wanting answers and closure, like what the fuck. And she asked why he abruptly disappears and ignored her, and Ted states, I quote, Stephanie, I have no idea what you mean, and hangs up on her, and she never hears from him again. Ted would later explain, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could have married her. So he confirmed, basically, his courtship with Stephanie and proposing to her had been deliberately planned, and he had waited all those years to be in a position of where he could make her fall in love with him for the sole purpose of eventually rejecting her, just like she did to him.
What? And then what? He just dropped all that shit? But like everything that he accomplished, all that shit. That
no, he keeps it up. He sticks to it. Ted does still continue to do schooling and all this stuff and growing in life. I just think it's so crazy. He convinces her like, "Hey, I've changed. I'm gonna suck you in." And then like a dog chasing a bone, he gets the bone and decides like, "I'm bored. I'm done."
Do you think he couldn't handle her leaving him? So he did all this shit to get back with her, and then he's the one to not respond and leave her, essentially?
No, I think it's just what he said. I wanted to prove to myself that I could have married her. Ted wanted to prove I'm better than her. I got her back, and also I dumped her, and now I'm hurting her like she hurt me.
That's what I'm saying. He flipped it. Now it's like he's the one that dumped her. He's in the power position. You know what I mean? It's not that she left him.
It's like I left you hurting
right,
now.
And I feel like as a narcissist...
And that's the end of the story.
Yeah, and I feel like as a narcissist, for someone to leave you, that shit's just going to eat you up like, she left me.
Yeah. Imagine all this time. He's like, oh, she thought she left me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he did that, and I don't know why, but I thought that was so crazy. Also, like, petty as fuck, Ted. Petty as fuck.
What's the span? A couple years? Like
a little over a year. Yeah. He planned this a little over a year. This was believed to be the catalyst to his murders because at this time he had begun skipping classes at law school. Another thing about Ted is he always thought things through. He was a very processed killer, very strategic.
Not to glorify him, but
no,
yes,
he was. He was.
He was a serial killer, but he was smart. He wasn't dumb.
Yep. No, he was.
Reason being why he got away with a lot of this shit for the longest time. He thought his shit through.
And remember, like I said, all these women would resemble Stephanie, the girl he ghosted. And a lot of killers, they do this. They go after women who look like someone in their lives who, in their opinion, wrong them in some way. Usually it's your mom, your wife. Even Liz, his current girlfriend, because he still dates Liz this whole time, she kind of resembles Stephanie. He never kills her.
He never kills his actual girlfriend.
Yeah, no. She's close to him. She's close to him. He does not kill anyone close to him. But
he killed the other lookalikes or whatever.
Well, he's not...
So his feelings towards that girlfriend was way different than what he thought of.
Oh, he still treats... You'll see. He still treats her like shit. He treats them all like shit. I don't know why she stays with him.
Did he ever do anything to her?
Hurt her?
Survived? She makes it out of this?
Yeah. She writes a whole book and everything.
He did killings while he was dating her?
Yeah. She stays with him even when he's arrested and shit for a while. Before we get back into the case, I want to take a moment to shout out the first ever sponsor of the show, Gabbi. If you listen to us, you probably know most of my research happens late at night. We're talking deep dives at midnight, open tabs everywhere, timelines, court documents, police reports, the kind of rabbit hole where suddenly I blink and it's 3 a.m. That's where Gabbi comes in. Their jitterless energy blends mean no crash, no shaky hands, and no foggy brain. Just clean focus that actually lasts. It helps me stay locked in while researching cases or recording long sessions without burning out halfway through. And honestly, I love that I don't feel gross afterwards. No guilt, no wired feeling, just steady energy when I need it most. If you want to support the show and stay sharp during your own late night deep dives, head over to dubby.gg. That's DUBBY.GG and use code BONESAW at checkout. That's BONESAW for 10% off your entire order. Huge thanks to Gabbi for supporting the pod, and a huge thanks to you guys for listening. Now, let's get back to it. Now, there's no set date when Ted began his actual killing, since there's so many theories. I mean, we'll go over them all after we discuss his victims, but some people think he started killing as a child. Now,
Animals, maybe.
There's actually when he's like 12 or 14, they think.
Oh, wait, he did the thing to the cat.
No, I'm talking about people.
Oh.
Yeah, people. Now, Ted, he does admit that his first kidnapping was in Ocean City, New Jersey in 1969, and that he killed someone eventually in Seattle during 71. So there is that, but there's no proof. So if there's no proof, the cops, they're going to just say it's bullshit.
It's not confirmed.
Exactly.
It's not a confirmed first kill.
Just like the girl with the DNA, everyone assumed she's one of Bundy's victims, but they waited, till the DNA test to confirm it. A lot of people think his first murder was when he was a child, and it was this 14-year-old young girl in his hometown. She pretty much went missing, and there's no proof other than them living in the same area that he did it.
Unsolved?
Yes. People still assume that he's involved and he did it, but literally there's no proof besides them living in the same area. Now, another thing you'll notice about Ted is his major lack of empathy in this case. Half the time, he doesn't even remember where he took certain victims. He can't be bothered to remember, and he'll send police all over the U.S. to find them.
He truly doesn't care.
He does not give a shit.
Yeah.
Now, let's all take a deep collective breath. We're going to go down the list of the many, many victims of Theodore Bundy. We're going to discuss Ted Bundy's first victim, Karen Sparks. At the time when he attacks her, she is 18 years old. She's a dancer. She's a political science student. And he actually attacks her January 4th, 1974. You see, Karen, she wasn't a big party girl, so at night you usually find her at home, curled up in bed with a good book. And this was like any other night. Until it wasn't. Around 1 a.m., while she was reading, Karen thought she saw a man looking into the window of her basement-level apartment. At first, she brushed it off as, it's my imagination, maybe the light bouncing off something through the night, headlights. She is on the basement level as well, so she probably has cars passing and everything. It's a college town. They lived in Seattle's University District, so I'm sure kids were always walking around. Karen did have 3 roommates she lived with. They were all men. So she felt a sense of security knowing that she had her friends around her. So she thought she saw the man in her window around 1 a.m. and then around 2 a.m., she's fast asleep at this point, Bundy would enter the home through an unlocked back door, creep into her bedroom, take a metal pole from her own bed frame and begin to beat her with the rod, bashing in her head, which would cause extensive internal injuries. He'd then proceed to rape Karen and use that same metal rod to assault her sexually. During the attack, he pushed the rod so far inside her it ruptured her bladder and, I quote, split it in half.
Oh my God.
She would eventually be found by one of her roommates 17 hours after the attack. Her roommate Bob is actually who found her, and the fact that it was 17 hours later is a clear sign no one heard this attack happen. Her roommate Bob actually thought she was sleeping, and he eventually saw the blood on her hair and pillow, he says, so I'm assuming he's probably opening the door like, is she okay? What's going on? 17 hours go by, and then he notices the blood on her hair and pillow, and he calls the police immediately. The roommate would claim at first that he thought she just took a nasty fall down the steps, and he even called her mother to inform her, hey, Karen's hurt, come to the hospital. And sadly, it wouldn't be until Karen actually reached the hospital that her friends and family realized she had suffered a much more horrific incident. She was rushed to the hospital where she underwent emergency surgery for her bladder and remained unconscious in a coma for 10 days. But she would eventually wake up and she would survive. She woke up with her dad and one of her roommates in the room. She couldn't walk, talk, or fully understand what had happened. She was left with permanent brain damage and significant loss in her vision and hearing. She lost 24% of her brain function, 50% of her hearing, and 40% of her vision. When she woke up, she eventually asked her dad what happened, and he said, "Oh, you had a little bump on your head." And she said he just tried to keep it as upbeat as possible for her, which it's probably a good thing she doesn't remember the attack. And I can only imagine how it must have crushed her dad, and good on him for being a strong man and trying to, not even let her know at first, let her heal, Eventually, of course, she learned what really happened to her. She had no memory of the attack, like I said, and was unable to give investigators any clues about who had assaulted her. Doctors would tell her family to put her in a nursing home with how extensive her injuries were. They didn't think that she'd get better, that they could handle it.
Like return to normal life.
Exactly. Most of them didn't think she'd walk or even talk ever again. Brain damage is intense, but her family said no. Her parents took her home and showered her with love and support. Her dad said, "You're not going to be the same person you were. You're going to be a better person."
Right on, Dad.
And he was right. His words stay with his daughter, and Karen thought about those words every day, making her even more determined to heal. And she did have a very, very long road ahead of her. She went through a lot, but she took every step. And one day, 18-year-old Karen, with the help of her supportive family, taught herself to not only walk again, but talk. Now that her physical struggles were on the up and up, Karen needed to work on her mental. For years, she didn't even want to discuss Ted Bundy, and who could blame her? She survived a brutal attack, which was hard on her mind, of course, and she didn't want to talk about it because she also didn't want the attack to define her. She didn't want to be treated differently or get pity either. And although she got stronger, she healed, and she grew, the attack had lasting effects. She'd have constant ringing in her ears and seizures. She would eventually remember little bits of the attack. Sometimes your memory can come back. Yeah. It's not uncommon.
I think it's crazy not quite knowing who did it either. So, you get out.
She doesn't even know what happened.
Like, who, or is he still watching me? Like, someone attacked me and knew where I lived. Like, is he going to come back there?
Yeah.
Is he going to finish the job? Like, you know what I mean? That's very scary to deal with. After
honestly, I give the girl her flowers because she's so brave and strong. She didn't come out and was like a victim who hid. She came out. She went back to school. I don't think she lived with them anymore. I hope not. I mean, she might have if she did. Good on you. But I couldn't personally. But she went back, took control of her life. She healed herself. She taught herself to walk and talk again when doctors even said to give up on her.
I hate when doctors say that shit.
I do too.
There's power in believing.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Trying to get through it. Don't just put you in a box like you'll never speak again, never walk again.
And she was only 18 when it happened. 18 years, she's a teenager.
Still young.
And I'm just glad she had a good family who supported her through it and said, you aren't gonna be the same, but you're gonna be better. And I think that's very beautiful. Now, another thing she would remember is 2 days before the attack, she saw an older man staring at her in the nearby laundromat. She said she looked at him and he'd look away, and this happened a few times. She noticed him staring at her, but she didn't really think too much about it. She'd add that they did have a brief exchange, and she thought he seemed charming. But the exchange didn't linger long in her mind. It was probably one of those passing things. Thank you for holding the door. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Now, it didn't linger long in her mind. However, to Ted, he fixated on it. He stalked her for 2 days, just waiting for the right moment to attack, which was that night in her room we discussed. Karen would say, quote, I remember seeing some guy looking at me and I thought, gosh, maybe it's just a figment of my imagination because it was so quick. It was just a flash. And I thought, well, nobody's going to hurt me. I'm living with these guys. I mean, who's going to hurt me? End quote. Karen would later say, after he was caught, that she thinks the only reason he didn't haul